Chapter 6. We have seen a planning approach in an urban scale, but the Earthway also contains a set of suggestions in a furnished scale. In this scale, we will find some avoidable and advisable planning conformations for a good flow of psychological and energetic equilibriums. There are several architects of international fame using overall the most part of the methods assembled in the Earthway, verifiable in Feng Shui. One of these is the Chinese Yeo Ming Pei. Obviously, when he works in the Asian Southeast, he is with some Feng Shui masters helping him entering the place he is planning. In Hong Kong, the Bank of China Tower, planned by him, is famous, but also strongly criticized due to the excessive use of a commercial Feng Shui. In addition, the famous Englishman Norman Foster, when he was building the bank of the HSBC head office in Hong Kong, finished in 1985, he had to submit to a set of rules suggested by Feng Shui masters. In fact, the position, the entrance below, the inclination of the stairs, and many more particulars are not casual. The Bank of China Tower, built later, was thought in order to take the control on the HSBC Tower, which later had to take some countermeasures. All this intimates a big investment in commercial Feng Shui. However, let us clarify that Feng Shui in ancient times meant balance and harmony. It is the research way of the equilibrium. Obviously, we can use its principles in several ways. Unfortunately, I must confirm a negative note on the use of Feng Shui both in Hong Kong and in all the Chinese areas where there is an extra strong economic boom. For example, walking in Hong Kong, we feel the sensation that in some way here Feng Shui was used for a selling marketing purpose. Surely there are several sale methods working, but this study does not reduce itself on it. On the contrary, there are many other interesting aspects. However, this phenomenon gave an incredible push to the knowledge and upgrade progress of Feng Shui, which nowadays has its motherland in Hong Kong. Of course, in these online courses, these sales techniques will be taken into account. However, they will be inserted inside an ethic and equilibrate vision, typical of classic Feng Shui. For example, in the classic vision, the business concept was meant by well-being, that opens to other fields of human living and not only the monetary one. There is another branch of studios following mainly the Skyway. In this picture we see how anciently these Chinese astronomers were studying the stars continuously. They took turns to watch the conformations of the stars and the climate all day and all night long. All this analysis was necessary to encode a wall of magnetic effects of the stars and planets. From these studies born the Chinese compasses, which are the first technical tools that, through the reading of the magnetic grade of a place, could catalogue such effects in a landscape level. The Chinese compass, called Luo Pan, had its own evolution, and nowadays is necessary to better define the energies of a place, a house, or an environment. Commercially, we find several kinds of Luo Pan. I planned one of them too after many years of study. In the Skyway, we find several approach methods based on the magnetic analysis, necessary just to the planning of a building or a house. Inside the school of Sun Yuan, we find the Low Shu method, Earth base and Sky base, defining an 8-sector star to be fixed on the center of mass of the house, the Xuan Kong Fei Xing, or flying star, Xuan Kong Da Gua, linked to the 64 hexagrams, the Ba Zai or 8 palaces, the Ming Hua or personal number, and many more. Inside the San He school, we find several methods that will help us to comprehend how to plan near the waterways or the streets. In the Skyway, there are several studios of international fame that have consolidated their bases, overall analyzing the ancient graves, positioned following several magnetic methods. In the world, many consultants are requested for important works too. Every consultant is more skilled in a way respect to another. Nevertheless, if a consultant knows several methods, will have a better approach for the planning consultancy. Let us talk now of the man way. Like said before, this way was contained in the several schools and did not have its own specific container. With this, I wanted to gather all those knowledge regarding just the aspects more linked to the human interaction. We can say that in ancient China, like in other continents, people knew a set of techniques and rituals, often esoteric, in the relationship between man and the environment. In these last years, parts of these techniques have been used and interpreted in a modern key by several studios, overall for the purification, the clarification, and the activation of the space. Again, in the man way we find also several approaches about the interpretation of the person. One of these is the Ba Zi, the study of the 4 pillars of destiny. This method is one of the most famous and important in the world, one of the most serious knowledge about the interpretation of the personality. We also find the Zi Wei Shu, a complex but very precise method based on the lunar system. Then we find also methods like the inner Feng Shui. To be precise, after many years of analysis on me, through the methods linked to the modern psychology, starting from the Wilhelm Reich studies, like the core energetic by John Pierrakos and the bioenergetic by Alexander Lowen, I formulated the inner Feng Shui, a study linking the personality to the typologies of the houses and the interior decoration most suitable. The energetic aspect of the individual has been studied a lot in Orient. Nevertheless, the Occident has the merit to wade in many aspects of psychological nature linked to the personality. To put it better, the effects of all the childish experiences, sometimes traumatic, characterize not only our vision of the world in a psychological level, but also modulate and characterize our physical body. Psyche and body are the thing expressed in our cell. This process does not end just on the first dress, that is the body, but also on our second dress, that is the house. I tried to find the soul motions of the house, each personality based on a character personal structure formed by a set of childish experiences, concealing also the talent and ability of an individual, also determines a whole set of composing and furnishing specific modalities. Everybody will have the house and furnished typology in perfect resonance with a kind of the character structure. Through the inner Feng Shui, we would read the house and they comprehend the person who lives there, with his blocks, scars, and potentials. In this way, with a simple rearrangement of the space and the furnish, we would try to better use the resource of the person, in order to help him going out conscientiously from dysfunctional conditions and to reach a level of major harmony. This method is very interesting. I'm working to it in years, and I will do a proper section in the following online courses.